Okay, very good afternoon, my dear friends. Welcome today session. Today session, one of the eminent resource person, Dr. A. Shailaja Madam Garu, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government Degree College, Siddipet. Madam is going to explain about today's topic. That is one of the most important in CPGET, all PG entrance examinations and all plant sciences competitive examinations also. That is anatomy. Madam will going to start today's meristematic tissue and meristems. Okay, Madam, please welcome and start your session. Madam, please share your screen.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. So today I am going to discuss that plant anatomy introduction. Sir, voice is clear? Okay, no problem.
Yes, madam. Your voice is clear. Please welcome. Madam, please click on slideshow.
Sir?
Slideshow paina click cheyandi ikkada. Slideshow undi chudandi paina. Slideshow. ఇంకొంచెం యానిమేషన్స్ పక్కన పైన రివ్యూ అక్కడ క్లిక్ చేయండి. అంతే.
అంటే ప్లాంట్ anatomy very very important topic in our syllabus.
మేడం ఇది స్క్రీన్ పెద్దగా కాలేదు, మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి డబుల్ క్లిక్ చేయండి దీనిపైన.
సార్ నాకు సిస్టమ్ లో చూపిస్తుంది బట్
ఇక్కడ కస్టమ్ స్లైడ్ షో గాని స్లైడ్ షో మీద క్లిక్ చేయండి. ఇక్కడ కస్టమ్ స్లైడ్ షో ఉంది చూడండి, ఇక్కడ కస్టమ్ అది కాదు, దాని పక్కన మేడం డబుల్ క్లిక్ చేయండి. మీరు సింగిల్ క్లిక్ చేస్తారు, డబుల్ క్లిక్ చేయండి. అది కాదు, పైన కస్టమ్ స్లైడ్ షో లేదా ఫ్రమ్ బిగినింగ్ అక్కడ డబుల్ క్లిక్ చేయండి. లేదా మేడం ఇక్కడ
సిస్టమ్ సార్ బట్
ఇక్కడ కస్టమ్ మీద చేయండి మేడం, కస్టమ్ స్లైడ్ షో మీద క్లిక్ చేయండి.
ఓకే
okay madam, please proceed.
Okay sir, okay. So first we are going to plant anatomy. What is the anatomy? It deals with the internal structure of various organs in the plants. So it is all internal structure of various organs in the plant, that is called plant anatomy. So it explains different types of tissues and tissue systems in the plant body. Generally that cytology, it is also considered as it is one of the integrated part of anatomy. So in this anatomy, that is the cytology is also, it is one of the part, its main part. Theophrastus, he is a scientist that father of botany. He was the earliest to recognize various parts of the plant body: bark, medulla, xylem. These all are parts, plant parts. So he first earliest to recognize that the Theophrastus, he is the father of botany. But only after the invention of microscope, this cytology branch came forward. Okay. So first, Robert Hooke. So in this anatomy, first all tissues are covered with the cells. So first that cell is discovered by Robert Hooke. He observed the bark under the microscope. That he described that consists of chambers. That chambers he's called them as cells. So the cells are discovered by Robert Hooke. It's the main thing in the anatomy. And after that, he can also define as the study of various parts by taking the sections. Okay, so that first cell is discovered by Robert Hooke. The first bark, he observed the bark under the microscope and defined as the many chambers that he called as cells. Okay, Next, Marcello Malfisi. He is also one of the scientists. He belongs to Italy. Marcello Malfisi and Nehemiah Grew. The Nehemiah Grew scientist belongs to Britain. These two members laid the foundations to anatomy. So because of that, the Grew for the first time introduced that terms like parenchyma, cortex, and vessels. So he mentioned in his book, that is Anatom Plantarum. Okay, Marcello Malfisi, he was published that book in the year 1675. So first the cell introduced by Robert Hooke in the 1665. After that, Marcello Malfisi given that he was published in his book Anatom Plantarum 1675. He introduced the terms epidermis, stomata. These all terms are introduced in his book. After that, the Purkinje, he's also one of the scientists. For the first time in the year 1830, first time introduced the term protoplasm for the substance found in the cell. Okay, that Purkinje first time introduced the term protoplasm. It is also important, and after that, the cell in the cell that recognized the nucleus in the cell that by Robert Brown. Robert Brown recognized the nucleus in the cell. It is also one of the important topic. And after that, the Strasburger stated mainly that the fluid present around the nucleus, that he stated that that is the nucleoplasm. These all members are important scientists in the anatomy. And after that, Sleeden and Schwann together proposed the cell theory. What is the cell theory? All living organisms are made up of these cells, so that all cells come from the pre-existing cells. That is called cell theory. It's proposed by, that was proposed by Sleeden and Schwann. Very, very important
Madam,
theory.
excuse me, madam. Your slide is not movable, madam. If possible, please move slide by.
Sir, just only giving that introduction.
Introduction. Okay, madam. Okay, please proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So
Right.
that cell theory proposed by Sleeden and Schwann, that all living organisms are made up of cells, that cells come from the pre-existing cells. That is called cell theory. It was given by Sleeden and Schwann. Very, very important. And Hugo von Mohl, he is also one of the scientists that supported that cell theory. And Carl von Nageli, he studied about that cambium, and he coined the terms of xylem and phloem.
Madam, if possible, please share your screen once again. Your screen is not visible.
Okay, sir, okay.
If possible, stop the screen sharing and share once again. Oh, okay.
Is okay, sir?
It's visible. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Carl von Nageli studied that he given that terms like xylem and phloem. So given by Carl von Nageli. And Hanstein proposed that histogen theory. So to explain meristematic tissues, it's also very, very important that histogen theory is given by Hanstein. So that theory explained that about meristematic tissues. Okay. So after we are coming to that, what is the tissue in our today's class? What is the tissue, that how that tissue is classified? What is the meristematic tissue? What are the characteristics and classification of meristem? How many types that divided into that meristem? Okay. Next, we are coming to the tissue system. So first of all, we are going to what is the tissue? So that tissue is a group of cells. So many organisms, all living organisms are made up of cells. So that a group of cells with a similar origin and function, that is called a tissue. Okay. So that is a tissue, a group of cells with a similar origin and a function. So what is the histology? Study of the tissue is called histology. So some examples are given in this slide, that is epidermal tissue, vascular tissue, and ground tissue. So epidermal tissues forms the epidermis for the protection. Okay, that is the epidermal tissue. For example, second one, vascular tissue, that vascular bundles are present in the tissue for the conduction. Okay, and that xylem and phloem are present in that vascular bundles. And third one is the ground tissue for photosynthesis or storage. That is the ground tissue. These are the examples for these tissue systems. So next we are coming to the classification of tissues. So tissue classification based on the development. The tissue classified based on the development. Meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. See here. So the tissues are divided into two types based on the development. That is, meristematic means continuously dividing. So there is no gap and stop the functioning. Continuously dividing, that tissue is called meristematic tissue. Permanent tissue means non-dividing and mature. That is a permanent tissue. That is the difference between the meristematic and permanent tissue. So classification based on components. So these tissues are divided into based on development and based on components. So we are coming based on components, simple tissue and complex tissue, secretory tissue. Okay. So first one, simple tissue. The single type of cells, for example, simple tissues coming under that parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma, these tissues all are coming under the simple tissue. Only single type of cells. So no differentiation is there. That is simple tissue. Only we are observed that single type of cells. That is a simple tissue. And next we are coming to the complex tissue. Many types of cells. Xylem, phloem, different types of cells, that is a complex tissue. So secretory tissue, example, special functions, glands, secretory tissue, some special type of tissues are there. So based on the components, three types are there. And next we are coming to the, what is the meristem? Okay, see here, already in the introduction, I given that what is that Carl Nageli proposed that coins that terms like xylem and phloem. That what is the meristem also given by the Carl Nageli. And this is a Greek word. Meristem means a Greek word merizin. So it means to divide. This term proposed by Carl Nageli is a Greek word. Merizin, that is that meaning is to divide. Okay, that is a meristem. Meristematic tissue means continuously dividing. This is a plant tissue composed of undifferentiated mass of cells. So it is a mass of cells rapidly dividing, found in the growing region of the plant. We can observe in the plant that growing region. So that in it may be stem or it may be leaf. That is a growing region of the plant. Give rise various plant organs, assist in plant growth. Okay, we can find out that meristem in the mainly growing region part. Next, what are the characters of meristematic cells? Okay, see here, root meristem is there in this picture. In this slide, you observe that root meristem. It composed of rapidly dividing cells. Undifferentiated size and shape of cells varies. Cells more or less isodiametric. See here in this picture. So that cells more or less isodiametric in nature contain dense granular cytoplasm and intercellular space generally absent. See here, the cells are arranged this like. Okay, so no gap is there between cell to cell. Okay, that generally absent, intercellular space is absent. Cell wall composed of primary cell wall. It contains primary pit fields, and cells do not have ergosic substances. Limited amount of endoplasmic reticulum and the plastids in the proplastid stage. Internal structure of mitochondria less elaborative. These are the characteristics of meristematic tissue. And next we are coming to the classification of meristems. See here. Classification based on the position. So it's very, very important actually was the types of meristem, classification types. So based on the position in the plant body, three types. That is the apical meristem, position, based on the position. Position means place. Okay. Apical meristem, lateral meristem, intercalary meristem. See here. What is the apical meristem? Apical means it is only present at the edge place. Okay. So that is the apical meristem. So next we are coming to the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem, it is present at the sides. Okay, that is the lateral meristem. And intercalary meristem means cell to cell gap is the nodes, and between the nodes that internode is there. That intercalary meristem, that we are called intercalary meristem. Three types of meristem that based on the position: apical meristem, and the lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. So this is the based on the position, only places. Okay. So next we are coming to the intercalary meristem. That is the next based on nature of cell giving the meristem. So nature of cell, that is the primary meristem and the secondary meristem. See here. First, primary meristem. Next is the primary meristem. So see here, apex of the sir, excuse me.
Okay, madam.
Sir, any problem is there?
No problem, but your screen is not visible, madam. Please share 1 second. Share your
Okay, sir. Okay.
Shailaja, madam.
Sir, sir.
Madam, proceed.
Sir, 1 minute.
Madam, you are not audible.
Sir, now is okay?
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. So that classification based on the nature of the cell. The primary meristem and the secondary meristem. So primary meristem, it is present in the plant. Okay, in the first, after the secondary growth, that tissue system is present. After secondary growth, that will be called as secondary meristem. Okay. So next, apical meristem. See here. The screen is okay?
Yes, madam.
Is visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So apical meristem means in this diagram, shoot and root apexes. So occurs at the tips, only tips of the stems and roots and leaves. That is apical meristem. It's composed of one or more cells present in the growing tips only. It is also called as apical cell or apical initial. We are called that apical initial because of that only that is a growing part. Cells maintains their individually and position. So activity of this meristem cause increase in length. Because of that, changes in the, we are observed that length, changes we are observed in the length, that is the activity of the meristem. It produces the primary structure of plants. Apical meristem is terminal in stem and subterminal in roots. We are observed that in the stem we are called that is a terminal, and in the roots that is the subterminal. And the next lateral meristem, see here. So actually in this picture shows very clearly apical meristem is a blue in color, and lateral meristem is a side position. Meristem present parallel to the organs in which they occur. It helps in the increasing diameter of the plant body, increasing diameter by adding new cells to the existing tissues. So after I explained that in the introduction that Sladen and Schwann given that cell theory. That means what? The cells are raised from the pre-existing cells. The cells are come from the pre-existing cells. So that's increase in diameter by the adding new cells. That is according to cell theory. So that cells to the existing tissues, they divide only in one plane. The dividing plane is periclinal plane. Okay, that is lateral meristem. So for example, that lateral meristem is vascular cambium and cork cambium. So that cork cambium is also called phellogen. Okay. Next, apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Based on the position, these three types are there. Meristem present between the permanent tissue regions. Meristem present between permanent tissue regions. They are actively growing region behind apical meristem. See here, that is a behind apical meristem. They are not typical meristems commonly found in internodes of vascular plants. So at the node, between the two nodes, that internode space is there. Commonly we have found that that in the vascular plants that intercalary meristem is present at that place. Okay, between the two nodes, that is internode. Also in leaf sheath or leaf sheath of grasses also it's present just above the node of equisetum. Okay, equisetum, we are observed that in the equisetum above the node that intercalary meristem is present. There are portions of apical meristem that was separated from the apex during development by layers of differentiated tissues. Okay, this is the intercalary meristem. See here in this picture already given that what is the space between the two nodes, that is internode is there, that zone of elongation. So the new cells are coming this way, that is the intercalary meristem. And the next we are coming to the based on the nature of cells, that primary meristem and secondary meristem is there. See here, primary meristem in this picture clearly given that direct descendants of embryonic cells continuously involved in cell division and growth. Apical meristems are best examples. See here, this is a primary meristem means it first plant the first stage, that is primary meristem. After the matured stage, that secondary growth, after the secondary growth, that secondary tissues are developed, that is the secondary meristem. And see here, secondary meristem is the permanent tissues. Okay, so example cork cambium and accessory cambia. This is we are observed that in the vascular cambium, so many hot wood, sap wood, late wood, early wood. So these all are formed by the secondary growth. That is we are called, that is secondary meristem. This is the nature of this, based on the nature of the cells, that is the primary meristem and the secondary meristem. Okay, this is the meristematic tissues. So based on the position and based on the nature of cells. Okay, next we are coming to the sir. Hello, sir, excuse me. Hello.
Madam, proceed.
Okay.
Please
sir, I will
proceed.
continue the immune tissues. We'll start
Continue, madam. No problem.
Okay. But I'll share 1 minute, sir.